Located on 225 acres in Garden City, Long Island, Nassau Community College, a member of the State University of New York system, has close to 20,000 students attend the school each year. The college mascot is Leo the Lion, and these are his stories of the school's absolute best and brightest who have graduated over the past 50-plus years. Let's catch up together as the Alumni Association of Nassau Community College proudly presents Lion Tales, a Nassau Community College Foundation production on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Welcome to Lion Tales, powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation. My name is Aurora Workman. I am the president of the Nassau Community College Alumni Association. I'm here with my friend and co-host, Dr. Lynnda Nadien, a proud graduate of Nassau Community College, and together we'll share stories that will inspire, uplift, and often amuse you.
Each week, Aurora and I will introduce you to alumni of Nassau Community College interested in sharing their experience here at Nassau Community College, along with the secrets to their success. Look for many new and exciting events on our alumni page, social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, and our web pages at www.ncc.edu/alumni. If you, our listening audience, has any positive news you would like to share about Nassau Community College alumni, engagements, births, graduations, weddings, and or accolades, email us at alumni@ncc.edu and we will shout you out.
Okay, today we're going to jump right in. We have so much to cover, but I am just so happy to introduce today's guest. It's Dr. Fred L. Holtz, Executive Director of Psychological Services Long Island, a place where he provides therapy for personal growth and confidence. Now, the Psychological Services of Long Island practices cognitive behavioral therapy and other proven approaches, and he is a proud alum of Nassau Community College. Welcome to Lion Tales, Dr. Fred Holtz, class of 1982.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. It's bringing back only pleasant memories.
I'm so glad. You know, it's amazing when people come back on campus, and I had asked you earlier, were you able to walk around and see the different changes? What's one of the changes that kind of sticks out aside from the construction?
Well, they completed the new campus. When in 1982, I think they were still working on the new campus. I like Museum Row. This part of the campus looks pretty much the same, which is lovely. Nice.
So we're going to jump right in, and we're going to ask you, when you attended Nassau Community College, you became interested in psychology through courses you took. Could you tell us about that?
I definitely love talking about that. So I went to Oceanside High School. I wasn't the best student in the world, and I kind of found myself on this campus. At the time, and still, they have an amazing psychology department, and the professors were truly inspirational and took a personal interest in my growing interest in psychology. They gave me personal advice. They were happy to give me feedback. I was literally inspired by the psychology department. Right here. It's where I decided finally to be a psychologist.
That's wonderful.
And then tell us about the psychological services of Long Island, that what they have to offer.
Sure. We've grown to be quite a large practice. There's 12 psychologists, social workers, and 1 marriage and family therapist. And we see children, teens, adults, families. We have groups. We do psychological evaluation. So it's kind of an all-service situation. We hire only people who love what they do. And like myself, and
very important.
We do just a wonderful job.
And so your approach to cognitive behavioral therapy, would that be different from most, or is there
CBT is relatively common. It's effective. It's what they call research-based. It's evidence-based. We have a mix of backgrounds among our psychologists, so we don't all practice pure CBT, but we all know CBT techniques, and we find it addresses a wide variety of problems.
And telling us about some of the most challenging parts of your work.
That's a good question. So working with kids and their parents is challenging, but truly the challenge is the healthcare industry in general. Like, not everyone has insurance, not everyone can afford to pay, so we try to service as many people as possible, and that's why we keep kind of growing over the years. The challenge, I guess, is to remain personally healthy and focused so we can help our clients best.
Do you also have at your practice, home care for students or ABA modification, behavior modification?
We don't have on our site, but we work with ABA specialists, and we work on getting people housing in situations and, the educational placement that they need. Yes, but we don't directly do ABA.
Oh, okay. Well, I noticed a lot of times that parents, when they find out, I was an advocate in the early intervention prevention program for Nassau County, and one of the things here was, I think, in discovering, parents are afraid to really discover the truth. They're not, because they're not familiar with how to handle their child's development or things, and so at the time, I was very curious and wanted to know, something's not right. Oh, there's a boy, this will happen. And I'm like, no, okay, I know something's not right. So what would you tell the parents who were...
Well, we do find that when we do the testing and evaluation for attention deficit disorder or learning disabilities, sometimes we do find the parents are relieved because they finally find out what it is that's going on. Why is my child not behaving when we know they're smart?
Right.
Why are they not learning when we know they are capable of it? So absolutely, some parents are a little bit shocked and in sort of denial, but many parents actually accept it because it's an explanation. Like they finally know, and then they know what to do about it. That's where we come in. We tell parents what they can do. We make recommendations to the school district, if appropriate, or to the parents themselves. Or sometimes it's an adult who gets a diagnosis of attention deficit disorder, and for the first time, and it sometimes is a relief, believe it or not.
Yeah, because if finally you can understand why you're behaving the way you've been behaving, and that was some of my relief part was with my son was, wow, I knew there was an explanation for it because I said he's the sweetest kid, and this is, so having a diagnosis of autism, I was able to help and really prepare and go and get educated about it so that I can be more effective to his development, and I appreciated all those services that come. So, did you do intake for those type of?
Well, we have one thing that's pretty innovative. It's kind of a one of a kind. Is we have a social skills group for sort of higher functioning autistic. It's not just for autistic people. It's for anyone who has social skills issues of any kind. And it's called Club 8, and it's been up and running for 4 years. That only addresses one aspect of someone who has an emotional problem or a social skills issue, but we found it to be very, very effective.
Yeah, I could see where having groups and having your peers would really help. Well, you're listening to Lion Tales on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Aurora Workman, along with Dr. Lynnda Nadien, and our guest today is Dr. Fred L. Holtz, class of 1982, a psychologist and the executive director of Psychological Services of Long Island. He's also an adjunct professor at Suffolk Community College, but we love him anyway. And a proud alum of Nassau Community College. So you've been working as a psychologist for 25 years?
More like 30.
30. Everybody's coming up on their 30 now.
Yes.
Yeah, and so do you teach psychology as an adjunct, or?
Right at the moment, I'm actually teaching at a different college, but yes, I teach as an adjunct.
Really?
I teach various psychology courses.
Wonderful. I know one of the things the impact that you can have on your students because you have a practice.
I do find I bring my personal experience to the classroom, and I always can come up with examples, clinical examples that brings it to life, and that's what the professors did right here at Nassau Community College.
Yeah.
So it goes full circle in a way.
Do you remember any of the professors?
All. The two Dr. Gorman and his brother, Dr. Gorman.
Doctor and doctor.
Yes, there was Bernard Gorman and Shep Gorman. The chairperson of the psych department, if I'm not mistaken, is still the chairperson of the psych department 30 years later. That's Dr. Sidney Hockman.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So some of the people are still here, but Murray Fullman is another professor. I do remember the names because they were all pretty inspirational.
That's one thing I found, that having been a student at Nassau, I actually remember the names of my professors because that's how much they impacted my life.
That's correct.
And when I said I'll never forget you, I really have not forgotten them.
I agree. It's that kind of like personal touch.
And I had Dr. Siegel in the psychology department.
Right.
And then we went from Psych 101 to 102 to Abnormal Psych. And those were very impactful in terms of the work that I do now, because I learned so much from them, and they inspired you to learn more about everything that they were presenting.
Pivotal. I can't say, I can't praise the department enough, honestly. It made me, I finally had decided exactly what career I wanted.
That's great.
And then do you find that as a person that because of what you do for a living, do you find yourself analyzing or diagnosing people at social functions?
So there's two common questions that a psychologist gets. The first one is, are you analyzing everybody in the room? The answer is we don't have to, because we can read your mind.
Yeah.
No, the real answer is it's my day off. And the second question is, how do you not take all the problems home with you? And the simple answer is, you have to have some kind of division, because you have to be at your best for your clients. So although I think about clients and I'm always looking to get them materials and advocate for them, you have to kind of shut it off when you go home for the day.
Right. Well, you also have to find, because you have 12 people in the practice, do you ever guys debrief each other? Or?
Yes, we have a meeting every week. It's called peer supervision, and we talk about difficult cases, interesting cases, our own reaction to the cases. Yeah. So it's not exactly therapy, but it's a place to get a group opinion.
Yes, and I mean, I find that in this particular profession, that a lot of times you do need that debriefing, or
a little bit.
You do.
I think that does alleviate some of your own anxiety over making sure that you're making correct decisions, or you're on the path to making a correct decision in regard to a patient or a student or whoever you're treating.
There's a little bit of practicing what you preach. So I practice, relaxation techniques, a little bit of meditation, a little centering, a little, So yes, you have to practice what you preach to some extent.
So where did you start at? When you decided that I'm going to have my own, where did you start?
I don't want to be repetitive, but when Dr. Gorman told me about what it's like to actually have a private practice, I said, that's what I want.
Yeah.
So I just moved from here to Stony Brook and remained a psych major, and then I went to Hofstra. I'm a world traveler, as you could tell. These are all Long Island colleges.
And then your PhD is from Hofstra?
From Hofstra University.
Yes. And is that in clinical psychology?
Yes, it is. Clinical and school psychology combined. They had a combined PhD program at the time.
That's very interesting.
Now, the students over there, did you have to work at their Schwartzman Center?
I did not. I know the sports dome, the health dome is called.
And they have a lot of, they do outreach to the community, involving a lot of the psychological services.
They do. I worked for what was called PERC, Psychological Evaluation and Research Center. So similar, but not with the sports.
And did they reach out? They had community outreach?
Oh, sure. Most of the testing and evaluation we did and therapy was from the local community.
Oh, okay. So when you decided your first interest in terms of when you were doing meditation and relaxation, was that for any smoke cessation programs or?
Well, I used to be a smoker, so I would have to say yes, but that's not the only. I was always into relaxation and focusing and what they now call mindfulness. It's a kind of a new branch, a new name for an old method.
Exactly. That's what education's all about now. New names for the old.
Basically. Psychology is about proving the obvious.
Yeah, exactly. Well, even with the mindset and Carol Dweck's work and all of that, it's part of character education.
Yes.
So she sort of re-released the book, and it became popular in the ed sect. So now mindfulness is becoming a big portion of the character education that you do, and in a way, if that's successful, then it would be able to carry over. So maybe students would have a little bit more of a positive approach to certain aspects.
The climate now is to teach mental health early on, and there's a good trend, a very good trend right now in education about like keeping mental health as part of the curriculum.
You are listening to Lion Tales. Today's guest is a doctor of psychology who specializes in adolescent social skills, panic disorder, and phobias, professional practice building, relationship difficulties, and transitioning to college. Dr. Fred L. Holtz, class of 1982. My name is Lynnda Nadien, along with Aurora Workman on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic.